It's tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh 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 tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh 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 tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh 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 tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh. It's tuh 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 tuh.
We're about halfway through the album now. This album is sort of our ode to the 90s.
But also, this album is sort of us trying to make the actual album we wish we could have made in the 90s. If we had like, resources and discipline and...
talent and, you know.
Exactly.
Speaking of the 90s...
Yeah?
So, in early 2024, you, Andy, did this podcast for a while about 90s stuff. And in March, you got the idea to do a Wiener Madness tournament to determine the most wiener-y band of the 90s.
Yeah, see, my whole thing was, I think it's undeniable that the most wiener-y band of the 80s was REO Speedwagon, and the most wiener-y band of the 2000-aughts was Nickelback. But then, who was that band for the 90s, you know?
Yeah, man, that tournament was a lot of fun. Lots of people chiming in.
Yep, and we had online polls each week where people voted.
But then, remember, like, there were some bands that were totally not wiener-y, yet they were deemed wiener-y by your co-host and by a certain section of your listeners. And then there were certain bands that I know were totally wiener-y, but some people were like, oh no, but I like them.
And, oh, you know, that band wasn't just in the 90s, and then especially when the tournament ended up being won by U2, they're like, oh, they were more 80s.
Totally.
Friggin' wieners. Friggin' wieners. And of course, you were contributing content for that podcast pretty much every week. Songs and skits and stuff. And then came the episode where there was a week left of the Wiener Madness tournament. Remember what you sent in for that one? Eh?
I think we can agree that clip I sent that week did not disappoint.
Wiener Band, Wiener Band, Wiener Band, Wiener Band,
One Wiener Band up against another Wiener Band. One Wiener Band doesn't even belong on this list. Aerosmith, amazing, crazy, crying wieners.
Crazy wiener.
Hanson, golden hair, teeny bopper, wiener.
Wiener Band.
As you can hear, it's a parody of Wiener Party from South Park,
which is a parody of the Game of Thrones theme. So my song is a takeoff of a takeoff. Pretty awesome, right?
So then, a few months after that, one of my other buddies told me about a certain AI program for making music, and I became pretty obsessed with that, and I started spending all my free time making all kinds of music with AI.
Then you got me in on it, and now here we are, still doing it.
And at one point, I thought to take your Wiener Band song and run it through the AI machine just to hear what that would be like to do a takeoff of your takeoff of that takeoff.
Wiener Band, 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 Wiener Band. One Wiener Band up against another Wiener Band. Wiener Band, Wiener Band, Wiener Band. One Wiener Band doesn't even belong on this list. Nirvana, Wiener, Nirvana, Wiener, Nirvana, Wiener. Aerosmith, amazing, crazy, crying Wiener. Crazy Wiener, crazy Wiener, crazy Wiener. Hanson, golden hair, teeny bopper Wiener. Boppy Wiener, Boppy Wiener, Boppy Wiener. Wiener Band.
That is some fever dream stuff right there. Like eerie, giving me vertigo type stuff.
What are you talking about? We're from central Wisconsin. There ain't nothing wrong with a little wiener waltz now. Come on, hey?
No, dude, that is straight up nightmare fodder.
That little bit ain't gonna hurt nothing.
Those voices were mad creepy. I got an involuntary shiver whipper just listening to it.
That little bit ain't gonna hurt
All right, listen up, pal.